So today we are doing another tag video. This tag video is one of the alphabet soup tag videos. I cannot remember the person's name who created these tags. I will put their channel in the description below. Go and check them out. I believe that there are 4 or 5 of these alphabet soup tags out at the moment, and I think that the person is creating the rest of the tags for the alphabet. So I think that the general idea is that they just pull a letter out of a hat or something like that, because it's alphabet soup. You never know what letter you're going to get, and the one they pulled out this time was E. I was tagged to do this by Chloe from Chloe Reads Books. I will put her channel in the description below as well. I think Chloe is great. I think she's a lovely person. I think she's a great booktuber. You should definitely go and check out her channel. I'm going to start the tag in just a second, but I just want to say that I don't know how successful I'll be, but I'm going to try not to mention books that I've mentioned in tags I've done recently, because I think I mentioned Skyward and Starsight in every single tag that I've done the last couple of months. You know how it is. The books you read most recently are the ones that you mention all the time, and come to your mind when you're answering questions. But I'm going to try and reach back further into my mind to answer some of these questions. So here we go. All right, so question number 1 is a book with a great ending and one that sucked. I actually have 2 answers for the great ending and one for one that sucked. Having said what I just said about books I haven't read recently, I'm already breaking that little thing, because the 2 books with a great ending, first one is the Priory. I always struggle with that word. The Priory of the Orange Tree. And I just thought this was a fantastic book. I really enjoyed the ending. It was very satisfactory. Yes, that's the right word. It tied everything up nicely. It left a few loose ends in terms of the characters and what they were going to do next, but the overarching storyline and plot was tied up nicely. It had a very believable ending that worked within the storyline, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. So that's my first answer, The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. My next answer is The Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. I have forgotten the author, but there'll be an image up somewhere. I just really liked the fact that I just really liked the ending. I'm trying not to give spoilers. Yeah, I just really liked the ending. I liked the people that got together. I thought that it was sweet, and yeah. Sorry, it's the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society even. So set in Guernsey. And the bad ending is Cradle and All by James Patterson. And I've said in a few videos now that I feel like the ending just really let me down. The way that he ended that book made the entire book kind of pointless, and that really annoyed me. So that one. Alright, second question is a book with a great elderly character. Gandalf? I mean, can you get much better than Gandalf the Grey from Lord of the Rings by J.R. Tolkien, R.R. Tolkien? So yeah, that was pretty easy for me. I've always loved Gandalf, so Gandalf. Next question. E is for EU. A favourite contemporary writer from the EU, or one that you'd like to try? So I have chosen Marian Keyes. Marian Keyes is an Irish author. She writes contemporary chick lit. I have read quite a few of her books now. Not read Grown Ups, which is her most recent book, although I would like to. I just really like her books. I think that she writes really great characters, very believable characters, very believable storylines. Yeah, they feel like real people that you would know, and I like the way that they are the sort of hard-hitting contemporary. There's always something else at work, not just sort of a romance. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course, but not my thing, really. Yeah, so Marian Keyes. Question number 4 is E is for E, a writer that you would recommend whose first or last name begins with E. So for this one I've chosen Erin Morgenstern. I know that Erin Morgenstern isn't for everyone. She writes very whimsical, very kind of purple prose, very descriptive writing, very lyrical writing. Like I said, I know it's not for everyone. Personally, I think that she is a beautiful writer. I really love the way she uses language and her turn of phrase. Next question is E is for exploration, and that is a new genre or theme or writer that you'd like to explore or try more of. And for this I have chosen horror. I've never actually read a horror book. I have watched horror movies, and some of them I've quite enjoyed, but I've never read a horror book. So that is a genre that I would like to give a try. Specifically, I would like to try Stephen King, and by the time you watch this video, I will probably have read my first Stephen King, but it's not a horror. Yeah, horror. E is for Et tu, Brute is the next prompt, which it then goes on to say that betrayal plays a central role in this book. So I had a big think about this one. I think this is very open to interpretation. For me, I think that the biggest betrayal, either in fiction or in real life, is when someone betrays the expectation that they will care for a child. So whether that means that they are neglectful parents, or whether that means that they are abusive, or whatever it might be, when an adult is in a position of authority over a child and they do not live up to that responsibility, I think that's the biggest betrayal, because children are vulnerable. Particularly the younger they are, the more vulnerable they are, the more they need our help and our assistance. And when that care is not given, I think that's the biggest betrayal. Any kind of power dynamic where there is a betrayal of that trust is pretty bad, I think, but particularly when it's towards a child, because children are not capable of removing themselves from that situation. They're not capable of being in total control of their lives. They need help, they need assistance, they need love, they need care. And yeah. So, I mean, there were any number of books that I could have chosen for this prompt, but I've actually chosen Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, and the reason for that is because I don't want to give spoilers, so I don't want to actually go into detail, but the mother commits that betrayal. Yeah, so that one. Okay, sorry, that topic makes me quite upset. Oh, okay. E is for exception. A book you loved despite the fact that it contained what you consider a fatal flaw. So again, choosing a book I've read more recently, but that is The Wicked King by Holly Black, which is the second book in the Folk of the Air trilogy. This one contains hate to love, which is not a trope that I particularly enjoy, and I think this one was done quite well. My main beef with this trope is that I feel like a lot of times when it's used, particularly in young adult, the person who falls in love with the person that they did hate, it's often a woman or a girl falling in love with a man that she hated, and it's usually a total reversal. So they hate this person for whatever reason. When I don't like the trope, there is no change from the hated party's point of view. They don't do anything to change their personality, or to change their behaviour, or to change the thing that the other person didn't like about them, the other person just changes their mind. Now obviously there are circumstances where that's okay, because maybe the person didn't realise that, maybe the person who you maybe it's the situation where you thought that someone was horrible because of one interaction you had, and then you never gave them the opportunity to show you what they were really like, or there was a total misunderstanding and you decide that you are okay, that you were wrong. I mean, another example is I could have chosen Pride and Prejudice, which is one of my favourite books of all time, because that same thing happens. But it's a trope that I, generally speaking, except for some circumstances, don't like, and it's usually because it's not done very well. I mean, I don't like it when it's not done very well, and I find that more often than not, it's not done very well. However, in both Pride and Prejudice and The Wicked King, I think that it was done really well. So I guess those two are my answers. Next question says, E is for E, a book title with lots of E's in the title. And this one I have chosen The Starless Sea, because the has an E, Starless has an E, and sea has an E. So, and there's not a lot, but it's a few. Each word has an E, so I think it works. Next one is E is for Ever Present, a book you read a long time ago that has really stuck with you. There are many books that I could have picked for this one. Lord of the Rings. In fact, I'm just going to list a few off. Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, Chocolat, Time Traveller's Wife, The Lovely Bones. Yeah, those books. Next question says, E is for Eliminate, a group of books that you got rid of and why. I've actually chosen books that I got rid of not because I DNF'd them or I didn't like them, but because the copies I had did not match at all. They were really old copies, and yeah, they didn't match, they didn't look nice together, so I got rid of them, and that was all of the books by Stephen Lawhead. So Stephen Lawhead is used to be one of my favourite fantasy authors. I have read quite a lot of his books. I owned quite a lot of his books, but I didn't ever own, with the exception of the Song of Albion trilogy, which I owned all 3 books of, but none of them matched. I didn't ever own full sets of all of his series, so I decided to get rid of them all. I haven't yet made the decision to rebuy any of them. I still like Stephen Lawhead, but he's not really my favourite anymore. But also my parents have all of his books, so I can very easily borrow off them. So that's the answer to that one. And finally, the next question is, E is for everyone. Tag extensively. So when Chloe tagged me, she contacted me before she made the video because she thought this was quite a challenging tag. I agree, so I contacted all of the people as well. So I don't know how extensive I've been because I wanted to hear back from those people, but I tag Victoria from What Victoria Read, Tate from Bookish Constellations, Kat from Stars and Embers, and Ellie from Earl Grey Reads. So I will link all their channels in the description below. They are all amazing booktubers and people, so you should go and check them out as well. And yeah, that's it for this tag. If you have any thoughts on any of the books that I have chosen, anything you would have said differently, anything you agree with, please comment below and let me know. If you want to talk to me on one of my other social media platforms, all of that information is in the description, so please go and do so. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.